This is the way every day begins for the Fideli family in Pleasant Hill, California, near San Francisco. Margaret, 75, helped by her granddaughter Amy, makes her way to the van that will take her to her senior citizens daycare center, where she is warmly welcomed by director Debbie Toth.
Did everybody put their deodorant on? Please.
110 low-income seniors go to the center 5 days a week. They get physical and occupational therapy, exercise, meals, and most importantly, a chance to interact with other people to stay physically fit and mentally alert. Margaret, who has a disorder that causes muscle weakness and mild dementia, knows she's too frail to stay home alone.
You know, I try to get around as much as I can, but I use the walker all the time.
This July, California's government chose to make deep spending cuts to close a $26 billion budget gap. The state cut in-home health services and free lunch programs for the elderly poor and limited seniors to 3 days a week in adult daycare. Toth says the cuts will break families apart.
Many of the people who come 5 days a week would be in institutions if they weren't able to come 5 days a week. I had one lady in absolute tears saying, how am I going to tell my brother that I have to put him in a nursing home? I can't tell him. You have to help me. I can't do this.
A legal challenge has temporarily halted some of the cuts, but Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is fighting the case in court to overturn the challenge and reinstitute the cuts.
For me, it's really obscene. It's obscene. I think it's because of the wealth in California that, to me, the choices that have been made this year are so morally reprehensible.
A recent university study suggests that up to 500,000 elderly, low-income Californians will be affected by the budget cuts. And that's forcing some families to make excruciating choices. Like the ones Amy Fideli has already had to make. Only 24 years old, she gave up her dream of college and got a job to support her grandmother and 7-year-old niece, Amelia, whose state-funded after-school program has also been cut. She's afraid of what will happen to Margaret if her daycare is scaled back.
She'd probably die, God forbid. Your family, you stick by your family, and that's the only thing you could do these days is stay with your family, stick with your family, and be there for them.
A young woman keeping faith with her loved ones in a state that is systematically abandoning its poorest and least powerful people.